Hello, once again. Welcome to Marriage Without Tears channel. This is Felix Okeke, your marriage counselor and coach, and I'm welcoming you to this bumper edition because it's going to be a wonderful edition indeed. We are looking at the issue of control in marriage. We are looking at the issue of whether you are a controlling husband, a controlling wife. By some of the things we're going to mention here today, you're going to actually take an audit of yourself and be able to tell yourself the home truth, because there's no man that can tell him or herself the honest truth except the person in question. So please, I just want you to pay ultimate attention. Just during the week, something happened that stirred the whole world. A wonderful actor in Hollywood who used to be the epitome, or rather the epitome of what it is about creativity and passion for the industry. That young man, Will Smith, did the unthinkable because of a negative control from his spouse. He turned around what could have been the best time in his career. He turned it upside down. And that's why we decided to look at this issue once again, because sometimes we may be pointing accusing fingers at somebody, not knowing that the other four fingers are pointing at you. You may be a husband or a wife that controls without actually knowing it. But by some of the things we're going to mention here, you will actually take a look at your own self and then be able to mend fences in your own marriage for the greater good. If you're yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so immediately. This red button by my side is the subscribe button. Just click on it and get subscribed. We want you to actually subscribe to this channel, because this is a channel, this is the ultimate channel where men and women who are married can go to and they find the right tools that can help them to live successful and blissful marital lives. So click on this red button, get subscribed while we go on. The first question I'm going to ask you: are you actually the kind of man or woman that backs others as the partner? You are always backing others because you want your own thing to be done. You want your own suggestion, your own opinion to be fulfilled, to be actualized. Because of that, you can back others to the detriment of the joy of your partner. Are you such a person? Have you done such a thing at one time or the other? Then that may be a key to the fact that you may be a controlling spouse. Because a controller is always not interested in the opinion of the other one, in the happiness of the other. As long as he or her own opinion or her own suggestion, her own idea is being fulfilled, it does not matter whatever the world says. She can go on and do whatever pleases him or her. That is the attitude of a controller. If you have such an attitude, then I want you to check that properly. The second thing that also may be a key to the fact that you are a controller: are you the one that decides what your partner wears, what your partner eats, the kind of friends he or she keeps, the kind of parties or functions he or she may attend to, the kind of work he or she may do, the kind of services that he or she may be involved? So if you are the one that is always the determining factor, a woman came to me and said, "Sir, I don't think I control my husband. Even though they are tagging me, they are telling me that I control, but I don't see any control anywhere." And I asked her simple questions: who determines where the children, the kind of school your kids attend? Is it your husband or yourself? She said, "I'm the one." I said, "Okay, that's good." Who determines what your husband eats every day? Is he the one that determines that, or you? He said, "No, she's the one." I said, "Okay. The house where you are living, is it a rented apartment or your own building?" He said, "No, it's a rented apartment." I said, "Okay, who actually made the decision for you to be there, to stay in that house? Who made the final decision? Is it your husband that decided that this is the house that is best for you, or is it you?" He said, "No, she's the one." I said, "Can you see some of the things I'm talking about?" So somehow, directly or indirectly, you are controlling without knowing that you are controlling. So these are the keys to know whether you actually, who actually makes the final decision at every point in time. That will be an indices, an indication that you are actually controlling your spouse. The third one: who makes the decision about the finances of the home, the final decision about how the resources of the home is utilized? Who makes that decision? Are you the one that makes the decision, or is it your husband, or is it a joint decision? Or maybe by certain things you do, you end up being the one that actually makes the decision of who spends what is appropriated to what is allocated to what. Who actually makes that decision? Who decides whether your husband or wife helps the the brothers or the sisters, because I've seen situations whereby the in-laws or the sisters or the brothers of your husband or the brothers of your wife come to the house, and somehow your husband cannot help them except you say so. Sometimes the man may even want to help, but the wife say, under no circumstance must you give anybody money. And then your husband will recoil to her share, to his share. I've also seen situations whereby the woman will go secretly to give money to her own siblings, or secretly to give money to her husband's brothers, secretly, because she has seen that possibly the man will be very, very aggressive, very, very bitter if she sees her doing so. So, that's how to know who is actually controlling. If you look at some of the things I'm saying now, you will actually check with your own marriage and see whether you are the one that is controlling or whether it's your husband. So it is necessary. In what happened over the weekend, you saw a young man who was seated enjoying the joke of another friend, with Smith I'm talking about, enjoying the joke of his brother Chris Rock. Somewhere along the line, he took a look at the face of his own wife, and suddenly his countenance changed. And he began to do something that is against his better judgment. So these are some of the things we are talking about. If you are a controller who by a wink of the eye changes the countenance of your spouse, or who by a wink of the eye your wife's countenance changes immediately, then you may be a controller without knowing it. So I want you to check yourself properly. I know of a man and a woman who are working in the same firm, but somehow it became very, very clear that the woman was the one in control without knowing that she was the one in control. Because any person that wants to take an excuse either for sickness or for whatever reason that they may not come to work, instead of going to the husband who is the head of the firm, they go to his wife, knowing fully well that even if the husband gives the order that the man should go, if the wife has it, then the employee is in trouble, despite the decision of her husband. So because of that, most of the people, whenever they want to go out, they go to the wife instead of the husband, because they know that the wife is capable of annulling the decisions of her husband with ease. So these are signs of control. You may be doing that without knowing that you are actually controlling. Sometimes men, because they see themselves as, they want to show a kind of love to their spouses. A woman may take advantage of that. I've seen a woman take advantage of the love her husband has for her. Anytime that the husband is saying things that is contrary to her own desires, she will burst out crying. And then the husband there will begin to kneel and beg and plead, and at the end of the day, the husband will change his mind because of the tears of his wife. And in such situation, you may even see that when the man walks away, the wife who was in tears will just give that kind of a sardonic smile. He thinks he's wise. I always know how to get my way. That is control. That is control. Is very, very dangerous in marriage. If you are yet to subscribe to my channel, I want you to do so immediately. Click on this red button by my side and become part of the vision of this channel. I want you to be part of this channel, because this channel, it will teach you a whole lot of things as we go even into the next point. Another sign of a controlling spouse is the one that criticizes on every little issue. Every little issue, no matter how small that issue may be, you are always criticizing. You never see anything good in your spouse. It's as if you are the only wise one in the relationship. It appears as if that your spouse has nothing upstairs. You are always the wisest one, even in that relationship. That is a sign of control. Because if that man is as dummy, or if that woman is as dummy as you think he or she may be, then why did you marry him or her? Why? You married him because you saw that there is a virtue in that person. You saw that there was a good in that person. But because you are a controlling one, you have decided to undermine those virtues. You have decided to trample on them as if they are no longer there. But I can tell you that those virtues are still there. They are still there, if you can only open your eyes. But a controlling spouse will never open the eyes. He will always be criticizing, using all manner of acerbic words, simply because he or she wants to undermine the integrity and the joy of the partner. So that is a sign of control, negative control. It happens every now and then. And of course, another sign of negative control is when by yourself all you desire and all you want to do is to rub down the other's self-esteem. You never see anything good. Because of that, you can take his shortcoming or her shortcoming to the public domain. I have seen spouses or wives or husbands taking the shortcomings of their partner to the public domain. They criticize their partner in the midst of other people simply because they want to receive affirmation that they are better than their spouse. Who are you competing with? Are you in that marriage to compete with your spouse? If your spouse has a shortcoming, is it not your responsibility to see that that shortcoming is taken care of? Then why must you bring the ills of your home to the public? Then people who are not supposed to know what is happening in your home, they will begin to know because you have decided that you must bring your partner down. No, doing that is simply to subject him to the level whereby you begin to control him. Then maybe out of fear, maybe out of guilt, he bows down and he doesn't want to, have his dirty linen washed in the streets anymore. So at the sight or at the sign of any trouble, he bows down. You cow him down. You take away his manliness. I have seen women who took away their husband's manliness, who took away what makes him the man. And then the man became a caricature of himself. And I tell you, if you do that to your own husband, what good is it to you? What good is it to you? I'm warning spouses out there. You must allow your man to be the man. You must allow him to lead. If you don't allow him to lead and you decide to usurp leadership, I can tell you that the end result will be very, very terrible. I mean, you don't usurp authority because God has crafted the man to be the leader of the home. It does not matter whether he is short or tall. It does not matter whether he is rich or poor. As long as he is the husband of the house, he is the leader of the home. You as a woman, you have been brought into that marriage to help him to fulfill his leadership assignment. That is what you come to do in that marriage. It is not for you to come in and usurp leadership. And that is what many women are doing. And that is the subject and the cause of so many squabbles in many marriages today. I pray that our women and our men, they shall go back to their shells and begin to check out some of these things so that your marriage will fulfill purpose to the glory of God. Once again, if you are not subscriber to this channel, please do so. Click on this red button, get subscribed as we move on. Have you ever used sex as a tool in your marriage? Have you ever denied your spouse or your partner sex simply because you want to determine when you can have sex in your marriage? I know of people who do it. I know of women who determines when their husband shall have sex with them. I know of women who do that. I know of men who determine by themselves when they should have it. I mean, this is so unfortunate. Because if you understand the value of sex in a relationship, you will not do that. But when you begin to use it as a matter of controlling your spouse, you have missed the point. And you have missed the whole essence of your sexuality. It is very, very important that you know that. Have you ever threatened to leave your marriage? That is another sign of control. I know of people who, at the slightest sign of trouble, they threaten to leave the house. The woman will say, "Oh, the only thing that is keeping me in this house is my children, I am tired of it." She will pick up her bag and she will decide to leave. And then children will be crying all over. Some of them will follow her to the gate and they'll be begging her. No, this is your home. If you have a problem with your spouse, why not sit in your home and work it out? If your parents have parted ways, will you be around? So what is it that you cannot resolve with your spouse? I have seen men at the slightest provocation, they threaten to throw their wives out. Why do you want to do that? Why will you want to do that? That woman left all to follow you. So is it not fair enough that at the slightest sign of trouble, you shall sit down as spouses, intelligent people, to discuss it? Please go to my earlier videos on how to resolve conflicts in marriage. There are so many things you can learn from some of these things. But when you begin to threaten your spouse at the slightest sign of trouble, especially young spouses of these days, at the slightest sign of trouble, the young man is kicking here and there. Some of them will pack the loads of their wives and throw them outside. Even maybe the young lady may have only one daughter. You send the whole thing outside, and everybody is shouting and crying. And at the end, even when the issue is resolved, the damage is indelible. The damage is indelible. I want you to look at it closely. Look at some of the things we are mentioning now, because these are the signs of negative control. Finally, one other sign of negative control I will not fail to mention is the attitude of some spouses, some men and women who tend to trade with their love. They tend to manipulate the emotions of their partners. Some of them will come with professions of love and everything. They will seem to love you with all they have at their disposal. And then when you are warming up to that love, they drop you and then they run away, because they want you to, become crazy looking for them all over the whole town. And by the time they come back, they have turned you into a sheepish human being. You don't know what you are doing anymore. That is manipulation at the highest order. That is control at the highest order. It must not be allowed to happen in your own relationship. If you discover after a period of time that this is the stuff your wife or your husband is made of, that he breathes hot and cold in the process of passionate love and unlove, you must work it out, because it's a system of control. It's a method of control. I thank God for giving us enough time to minister to one another tonight. And I know very well that if you can check some of the things we have mentioned here, you may find one or two in your own marriage. And as intelligent people, as wise couples, please do whatever is necessary to amend some of these areas before it puts a serious dent on your marriage. I appreciate you for your time, and God bless you. Have a wonderful week. I look forward to seeing you next week.